Economic Affairs, but I don't think it's still connected with Malacanang now.
Excuse me, Senator Lacson. We fished out a video, and I just want to see the connectivities here, and you can go to town if you like, trying to fish out the connectivities here. Please show the video. This is RTVN. You see, do you know Mr. Michael Yang? Is that Michael Yang there in the picture? You see, the lady there is the Director Puno of FDA. And I can see Senator Bongo.
Yeah, I believe that's Michael Yang. That's Michael Yang
in the purple shirt or lavender shirt, correct? Di ba?
If it is the same Michael Yang referred to earlier by Director General Kimbo, Mr. Chairman. But I'm sure the one that you were pointing at earlier, Michael Yang din yan.
Yun nga, Michael Yang. So they went to the palace according to this news report from RTVM, the government channel, in Davao City. And Mr. Bongo, Senator Bongo, our very own, was there. You can see that. And, it's been said that Christopher Lloyd LAO worked with Malacanang, worked with Senator Bongo, and you've been denying that. Is that correct?
I work under the Office of the President, under Office of the Special Assistant to the President, under the umbrella of Office of the Special
So you don't know Senator Bongo, and I'm not trying to implicate him here. All I'm just saying is, let's be frank and candid here, because what I see here is a meeting which is fair. It's open. It's being televised to the whole country. And now let's connect it now to the bidding. All right? Formerly, President Wang is here. Do you know Mr. Wang? You said he just came into your door, right? In your office.
I do not know him personally, Mr. Chair.
Oh, come on. You just said a while ago that you went he went to see you.
No, Mr. Chair. The one who went to our office, I think, is Mr. Lincoln Ong. I don't know Mr. Wang.
You're under oath, huh? When did you first meet Mr. Wang, if you did meet Mr. Wang? Now you're denying it.
What I need Ming Yang, I think, Mr. Chair. Ming Yang?
Mr. Wang.
Wang, no, I don't know Mr. Chair. I don't know Mr. Wang, Mr. Chair.
You don't know him, but yet you gave him the award. And of course, you don't know him, and you conveniently did not check his bona fides in his GIS, in his corporation. You don't even know if they've done this business before.
Mr. Chairman, the only thing that was required during that time when we were bidding is the SEC registration.
Are you a senator now? You can make the laws the way you want it. Those laws were made by the legislature, and I can show you what you have to follow. You have to follow and take a look at the registration of the corporation. Can you show again yung listahan? Yeah, I already said business name, the SEC, valid and current mayor's permit. Did you check that? Do you know if they paid taxes?
Yes.
Because you're not going to give it to them if they don't pay taxes, correct?
They submitted all of those documents, Mr. Chair. It's with the office.
But you said you did not see it.
It is with the office of the PSDBN, Mr. Chair.
But you're the one in charge.
Mr. Chair, the procurement process starts.
You need to tell me you are giving out 8 billion pesos worth of money and you're not even going to bother. Sino kaya ito? Ang lalaki mag-bid eh. Billion eh. Di ba? Doesn't it even pique your curiosity?
If we do that, Mr. Chairman, then ako,
what?
It naman kami later on for association. So what we do...
What will happen if you do that?
We might be held liable for association. So what we do
is...
Under association, Mr. Chairman, kasi bawal po yan sa...
association? You have to take a look at who's bidding. That's why you ask for those documents. Ano association?
If it's just pass or fail, Mr. Chair, during the bidding, if they submit these documents, if it is complete, they pass. If it's not...
Part of the documents, isn't that true, is that they have to submit all these requirements of corporation that they have paid, tax clearance certificate from the BR main offices. Their address must be accurate because if you go after them, you know their addresses and that they live there. Is it not correct?
The SEC registration should be valid and consonant with the SEC records. As to whether or not it is valid, Mr. Chair, hindi na po namin ma-validate yan. Kasi sa SEC, pag nag-register sila, hindi naman kasi kasali si PSDBM.
You're very cavalier with the people's money. Kaya nagagalit ang tao. Wala tayong pambayad doon sa mga tao. Kung di sila mabigyan ng ayuda, kung di sila mabigyan ng mga nurses ng kanilang SRA, it's because of people like you who are so cavalier about holding the people's money.
Mr. Chair, I think it's unfair to
Mr.
say that
Chairman.
because we're doing our best. And during that time,
No, your best is not enough into the peer.
I apologize, Mr.
Now,
Chair.
let me tell you this. When you graduate from law school in Ateneo de Davao, you graduate first ABA. You taught at the Ateneo de Davao, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And then you became a lawyer, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And what was your first job?
Legal researcher, Mr. Chairman.
What?
For housing. Legal researcher for...
You're a paralegal, right?
Real
And a
estate.
college teacher. Then you passed the bar exam in 2005. And then you became a 6-month and 6 months, you were an arbiter of HLURB, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And of course, in 2006, 2016, according to you were in the law firm. And then Mr. Duterte campaigned and you became a manager, you were an election lawyer. And is it not true that you became presidential management staff, office of the special assistant to the president? Nakalagay undersecretary with the rank of undersecretary with Andy Law, another friend of yours, who's now in 2021 still a USEC in PMS. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So you're all associated together, right? And the wife of Andy Law is the first judge appointed by the president in Davao. Is that correct?
I cannot confirm that, Mr. Chair.
You cannot confirm? Andy Law is your friend.
Anderson
Ano?
is my
And you were
friend.
involved with the free gauge deal and you had that brouhaha with Empedrad and Mercado, resulting in the cashiering of a respected officer, Mr. Mercado. And then of course, you became officer in charge. Wow! Sabi mo, I'm just lucky. You were put in charge of a corporate, of a company, of an entity of the government that is now conducting all the biddings that are multi-billion. And yet, you don't care whether you're going to check on all the people. You don't even ask your staff, tingnan nyo kung tama yung binasambit na yan. And I'm aware that you're very strict when doon sa pass-fail na sinasabi mo, nakapag-bidding na, papalitan pa rin nyo, maglalagay kayo ng bagong requirements, in writing pa, in handwriting, and then you're going to change the winning bidder to your favorite bidder.
We don't do that, Mr. Chairman.
I can prove that to you.
We don't do that, Mr. Chairman. I apologize, but we don't do that.
What are you apologizing about? I'm just trying to find out what is going on. I don't have anything against you. But it seems, as you say, by association, ayan lahat, Michael Young was not in that meeting. The president of this corporation was in that meeting with the president. Of course, that was 3 years before, May 2017. And now, the pandemic started May 19. And now, all of a sudden, you give big contracts, 8 billion, 18 billion? Oh, how do you expect us to look at that? Even if you tell a high school graduate that, di ba magdududa? And once nagduda, once nagkaroon ng perception na may kalokohan, lagot ka na. Sira na ang paniwala ng tao sa iyo. Alright? We're not dummies here, you know. We do our job well. And by the way, did you not apply for the ombudsman? Ang swerte mo. Naging commissioner ka pa ng HLURB. Ang galing mo. Wala kang dating pinagdaanan na hirap. Tapos naging HLURB commissioner ka. Ang swerte mo. Pagkatapos naging ombudsman, naging officer in charge ka ng PSDBM, and now ombudsman. Nag-apply ka. Nung nandun ako, sabi ko, ba't nag-apply ito? Ang lakas sa loob nito. Sabi ko gano'n. Mabuti nag-withdraw ka. Because when we would have interviewed you. What makes you think there was another applicant the other day? And because she had no credentials as a practicing judge? We said no. Ikaw mag-a-apply ka sa ombudsman. Bakit? Are you preparing for an escape plan na pag pumutok ito, pag wala na ang presidente, wala ka ng kapit, lalabas lahat yung kalokohan mo? Is that the truth?
No, Mr. Chair.
That is my conclusion. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, when I was at OIC sa PSDBM, it happened because natanggal po yung existing PSDBM because kulang siya ng master's degree. That's why I was OIC. In fact,
You just happen to be there, right?
yes, Mr. Chair, I
Your
was
associations just happen to be very convenient, right? You're associated with Senator Go. You were the campaign lawyer for the president. Your friends are there. In fact, the guy who replaced you there is still there. And then you lie to me, you don't know Mrs. Law? Kaya ako nagalit sa'yo eh. Galit na ako talaga because you're lying.
I did not know Mrs. Law. I do not know if she was the first judge appointed.
So you know Mrs. Go. So you're not Mrs. Go. So in other words, you're splitting hairs.
She is a lawyer. She is a
I'm telling
judge.
you must be an expert because you have no more hair, I suppose.
No, Mr. Chair. Just Judge Law has been a MTC judge before. So when I was practicing,
Ay, nako.
I
Kasi
already,
nahihirapan kami sa gobyerno. Go ahead, Senator Ping.
Earlier, he averred that he did not know
Please lead us of this
no, Mr.
pestilence.
was appointed judge. Now he's saying that he knows the background of Mrs. Law.
Yes,
Here,
she just said that.
used to be MTC judge, so he's been very evasive from the start.
Mr. Chair, I'll answer it. This
And
Judge
Attorney Law,
Law is
very
an
lucky
MTC
that
judge
you
when I
were
was
able
practicing
to,
here.
excuse me, Attorney Law.
Yes,
We're
yes.
also lucky that you were able to barge into the laging handa briefing all of a sudden,
What laging handa?
just to explain your side. Bigla ka nando sa laging handa briefing and you were not anymore connected with Malacanang or with any government agency, and yet you were accommodated
Mr.
by laging handa briefing. How lucky could you get?
Mr. Chairman, I was contacted by PSDBM simultaneously when all these things happened. Even private news televisions were trying to contact me, and also the government news agency also contacted me, and I answered only to that particular company. In fact, when Senate also contacted me and Congress also contacted me for subpoena, I willingly responded. But it doesn't mean
And of course, Mr. Lacson, if I may, you just happened to be in the room with Admiral Empedrad. Using your position, you called him, and it just happened that there was a controversy involving the supply of the combat management systems of the new vessels that were contracted in Korea, costing 15.5 billion pesos, correct? It's just convenient, isn't it? It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable, really, when it comes back to you and haunts you. You cannot lie, you know.
that's my because that was my job, Mr. Chairman. I have to do my job.
Really, your job is to check in the Defense Department. You know, Senator Lacson is a Committee on Defense. He did not even bother to call them.
There was a complaint sent to a letter. We just asked them to explain, and they just explained. They even presented, and in fact, we were able to explain that during the last Senate investigation on the frigate. Yun lang ang sinagot namin na they just presented, and that's the only thing we did. Record purposes.
And how did you feel when Admiral Mercado, a career officer, was suddenly cashiered? And it all started by that meeting with you when it was exposed by the newspapers. And it became a controversy. How do you feel?
I'm also shocked.
Admiral Mercado lost his job.
I was also shocked, Mr. Chairman, because I also did not know during that time what would be the repercussion. The only concern during that time was there was
your witness. Yes, Senator John.
I don't think we can still get anything from this witness from person because it's been evasive since the time that he started answering questions. Can you expect to get some satisfactory answers from this person, Mr. Chairman? Well, it's in your hands. We'll support whatever action you would take on the matter because being evasive is a ground for citation for contempt. There are rules, Mr. Chairman. It is your call. And if anyone would move to cite him in contempt of this committee, then I will support it. I will second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
We can put this guy in contempt anytime because I was going to ask him again of a note that was given to Mr. Mercado, Admiral Mercado, and can you please put back that note? And it instructed you to Admiral Mercado, Ronald, this was given to me by Bongo. This is coming from Secretary Lorenzana, a man of integrity. Go over it and prepare or report rebuttal to be submitted to the president. So, and this was the offshoot of that meeting between you and Admiral Empedrad, correct?
That letter, that note is not coming from me, Mr. Chairman. That's not my handwriting, Mr. Chairman.
No, I didn't say it was yours. You're not even listening. That came from Secretary Lorenzana, excuse me. But the fact is you were part of isalansan there. Biglang nawala yung kontrata at nagkaroon pa ng another problem because when nilagay na yung Korean I remember that in the debates in the Senate. The military should be given the hardware that they desire. It should never be supply driven. And in this particular case, again, you're getting supplies because of your relationship, because of your past. It's supply driven. In fact, I asked you the other day, look, is it your habit to go to the supplier and ask, sige, mag-supply ka rito? Because of dami-daming pera? Boy, you must be flying high at that time. Well, can you blame us if we think that way? I don't know you. I don't want to put you in a pressure cooker. But right now, when you come here, you better tell us the truth. The truth of the matter is, you knew Mr. Wang. You were associated with Senator Go, and it says you never worked for him. That may be true. You never worked for him, but he knew you. You knew him because you were all part of the campaign committee, and all of a sudden, your friends were also taking over from the department that you left. So how do you expect us to believe you? So, it's so hard to be in this committee because sometimes you have to really be direct because, if we don't look at this, it will go on happening and happening and happening over and over again. At ang talo palagi ang tao. Yung dapat pumuntang pera, sa tamang bagay, napupunta sa mga bulsa ng mga, tawag ko kahapon, mga sawang pumasok sa poultry ng bayan. In other words, you are not conducting yourself with due diligence. You did not do due diligence. Siyempre, galing yung mga request na sa Department of Health, correct?
Mr. Chairman.
Correct? Galing lahat yung request sa Department of Health, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Hindi mo ba sinabi kay Secretary Duque, ikaw na lang yan, Secretary of Health ka, basta alam mo yan eh. Bakit ako?
We sent a letter.
Tapos madudulas ka dito, sasabihin mo, pumapasok sa kwarto mo yung mga yan. That's highly irregular. When you're conducting a bidding, you cannot talk with these people. Go ahead, Senator Dillon. Recognize. Senator Frank, you're recognized.